Hello everybody, I'm unreMARKable. Welcome back to Subnautica Below Zero. So, can I get like a sample from you or something? Okay, I want to be able to plant these because those are awesome. I want those. I should just move my base over here. This is a really great place. I just keep having to run back over here. So, back to my rant. I know, it's been a whole week for you guys. So you're like, okay, is he going to stop talking about this finally? No, I'm still on this rant. So, be prepared for that. These are really good. So, one of my dreams that I think definitely should happen for public education, something that I think that would help a lot, would be the adaptation of what a practice in charter schools, which is called celebrations of learning. So basically, my little pangu. So in the charter schools, basically what you have is the celebration of learning. So at the end of each semester or whatever, like whatever amount of like the school year however you cut up your school year, semesters, trimesters, whatever you get, you have a stasis rifle. I want that. So at the end of each of these things, you present what you've learned in the semester, and it's like your big project. Are you gonna hit me? Okay. So you present all of what you've learned, and I think that's really amazing. And now I've seen this through my what's it called? Not middle school. Yeah, middle school. I saw this in my middle school, and there were some really amazing projects. Obviously, there's some people who just slacked off and didn't do anything, but there were some really amazing projects. Now, I think this needs to be done in high schools, because I saw some amazing things in middle school where, like, you know, you're pretty controlled on what you can and can't learn in classes and whatnot. But if we open it up in high school, imagine all the amazing things people would make. And you could just go walk around the high school and see these like hundreds and hundreds of students and all the amazing, crazy things they've made. I think that would be absolutely amazing. And also, another point off it is some people are like, well, if everyone's just still taking their required classes, like, you know, how are you going to do it for all your classes? You wouldn't. You'd focus on like one class that you like the most. I think that'd be really cool. So, like, for my, for example, like, computer hardware, like, your final could be, like, you'd explain, you know, I don't know. 30 seconds of action. I don't know, what would you do for computer hardware? I guess you could build a computer and just explain that, like, beforehand, you had no idea what memory was and, like, RAM. And now you're like, hey, I can build a freaking computer. But I want to change the whole idea of how of high school exactly. So I feel like high school there's too many requirements, and I've talked about this before. There's too many requirements of what you have to learn. Where I think, yeah, obviously learning those things is important, but there's other things that you could and should be learning. Why can't I find any more? I already have this. Oh, that's fine. There's too many classes you should be taking, and I think we should have time in high school where you have more of an opportunity to explore types of classes you can be taking. Because, you know, it happens so often when people get to college and they don't know what they want to do. Like, how do you not know what you want to do for the rest of your life? Like, that seems like a huge gap in education where, like, why are we not, like, I get the schools have made efforts toward that with advisory, but if we're going to be honest, I haven't ever paid attention during advisory. It's a really dumb class. It's like, oh, great, I get to do this one class one day a week. Great, it's advisory. But I think we can make it fun, because I had a class called Crew, which was essentially the same thing in my middle school, but it was better. Because it wasn't like a teacher talking at you. It was a conversation, you know? And I think that was really important. It wasn't the teacher talking at you and you just like listening in on this. It was, shut up. It was a conversation with them, and you could feel really close to that one teacher. It happens so often where people just like connect to a teacher. If you had a teacher that you got to go to every day as like a homeroom but better, where it wasn't like, it didn't feel like a school class. It was just like, a time where you could present information about whatever, and you could have conversations. Like in my crew, we watched funny YouTube videos like almost daily. We watched the cool trailers for new movies coming out. I felt really connected to that one teacher, who otherwise would have just been my math teacher and would have been like, oh, okay, this is my math teacher, whatever. So we need a class like that where you're able to have a conversation with your teachers and feel really connected to them. Because you're so disconnected from teachers in school, where it's like, okay, your only job is to teach me, don't talk to me, otherwise I don't want to have a conversation with you. And obviously there's teachers I love them as a person, but they're a horrible teacher. I'll say that any day. And I'm obviously not going to say that like to their face, because that's horribly mean. But there's teachers where it's like, oh wow, I really like you as a person, but as a teacher you're hurting my GPA. It's just horrible. You need to have one teacher, at least, that you're really connected to. And I think that could be accomplished through crew. Now, I would establish crew. It would be you'd be in that group for a very long time. In the ideal situation, I would say it would start in elementary school and run all the way through high school. Assuming, like, you don't move or anything. I'm lucky enough that I haven't moved to different cities throughout this, so it'd be harder for people who move. But ultimately, it would be like a family. You'd be really connected and close to this one group of people. And I just think that'd be really great. And you'd have that connection to one teacher, at least. So, yeah. Okay, next rant item on the list. Because I like talking about this. This is interesting to me. Online education. So there's online classes and stuff that you can take, right? But it's really not connected to, what am I trying to say? To the, it's not like connected to anything else. It's just kind of like, it's not connected to like the primary education system. I've been in high school and never once have I heard a teacher mention taking an online class, except for the online classes that our class start, and it's a thing you do over the summer usually. I think that should be more used, and like you should be able to have like half your classes be like that, where you have like half your classes where you I'm ranting so much. People are gonna be like so mad at me. They're gonna be like, please shut up. You should be able to take more classes online, because there's a lot of benefits to online learning that I really don't think are being used. One of them, of course, being that, oh geez, where's my mind going? How many computer chips? I need 5 computer chips. So, I need 5 copper wire. One of the disconnects that happen. Oh my goodness. I'm losing my crap because I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Online learning. So there's a disconnect from it, because you really, like, you can just like pay attention and like doze off during an online class. And obviously that's gonna happen, but I think if we're pushing people to take classes they want to take, I don't think that's gonna happen. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3. That'd be 4 with those. And 5 with that as soon as I put something away. I think if we're pushing people to take classes they want to take, that could be a lot better. Like my example is I watch a lot of YouTube videos. If no one has seen Because Science, they have a really amazing show. I really enjoy it. And I don't understand why I can't be taught with stuff like that, you know? Where I take a lot from YouTube videos. I'm a very visual and kinesthetic are like, not auditory and kinesthetic are like my top ways that I learn. I think we could, so like I take a lot from YouTube videos. Like I can watch a video. That's how I've been reviewing for one of my final tests I'm taking for my history class. Jeez, I'm ranting so much. Oh boy. 1, 2. I made 2 of the 5. So, jeez. So I learn a lot from auditory and visual stuff. I think we should be pushing people to take more classes like that. Like for me, I'm auditory visual. I could take a lot of online classes that were YouTube videos because I would take a lot from that, and I could have a lot of ones where I can do independent like activities on my own. And people who benefit from the classroom obviously can stay in the classroom and do their own thing. But it doesn't make sense that we have every class taught basically the same way. You know, the people are kinesthetic, auditory, or visual learners. Why are we teaching every single person the same way? People don't learn the same way. And one of the problems with education in general, this has been like an occurring problem, is how we should be pacing schools. Like, it happens so often that there's like those programs that are like, oh, no student left behind, no student going too far, or whatever. Like, there's so many programs that control pace. If it's online, you can just go at your own pace, and people who need more help can go to get the help they need from a teacher. So online learning, and people who are usually stuck from being like held behind from the rest of the class, like it's horrible that people have to wait for other people to understand topics. I should be able to move ahead, because if I'm at my own pace, like who says that, you know, you need to be able to pass high school in 3 years, no more, no less. Well, I guess a little less. But, like, if you can get all your required classes out of the way, you should be able to get your high school diploma. But then the learning can't stop there. College is way too expensive. High school needs to be able to offer you more classes for a longer period of time that you can bring into your life. Because it's how... And if we do that, if we are able to offer people to, like, raise up the strength of your high school diploma and what high school classes you can be taking, then that's going to bring the value of a high school diploma back up, which is a problem we have in America. Like, a high school diploma means basically nothing at this point in the workforce. Like, you're kind of expected to have one of those. That's just like, if you don't have a high school diploma, you're going to be working in fast food. I am ranting so much. I am sorry. I get very ranty about stuff like this, because it makes me mad, because education is broken and I just want to fix it, you know, because if it doesn't make sense, I should be able to fix it. I don't understand why I have to go through this dumb system. So another thing I have is retakes. This is kind of a part of my test rant too. Is retakes are like a game in high school. It's different for every department or teacher or whatever. So I don't understand why you can't just retake a test. The point of a test is to prove you're learning, right? Just base level. A test is to prove you're learning. So why is it that if I want to retake my math test, I need to go to the math lab, practice with them for 20 minutes, then I need to do my test corrections, and then I get to finally retake the test, but I can't get above a 90%, and I also get the average of my 2 scores? So I understand these are in place so that people will try on the first test, obviously, but then I could get 100% on the retake, but then only get 90% in the gradebook. Why is that? It really doesn't make sense to me. Because your gradebook, that's supposed to prove what you know. You're saying I know 90% of Algebra 2 or whatever. You know, I can do Algebra 2 at a 90% accuracy rate, which is pretty good. You know, if you can do 9 out of 10 things in your adult life, you can go pretty far. So it makes no sense. And in the English department, you don't have retakes at all. Whatever you turn in on the due date is your grade until you die, you know? So it makes no sense. You should be able to just say, hey, I didn't do good on this, you know, I wasn't in the right mental state. I'm going to take my own time to retake this test until I get the score that I want. So, and that goes right back to what I said before of an A in each class is really not the same. So, there's more of my ranting. I'm gonna be done now. I'm too stressed about ranting about why school sucks. I'm gonna go for a walk or something. Or I gotta finish up uploading my YouTube stuff. But then I'm gonna do that. So, thank you all so much for watching and listening. If you have any reactions to what I've said about public education, please tell me stuff down in the comment section below. So, I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!